we picked up a couple things at Big Lots, which our local Big Lots is closing permanently, and I got an email ad that said that lots of items were about 40% off. These movies were 20% off, so they had the sticker price plus another 20% off. I know there's a Criterion Collection release for this movie, Love and Basketball, but I wanted to pick this up. It was only $5.99. Again, 20% off. It's got a lot of extra features on it. Feature-length commentary. Many of these things may be on the Criterion release, I'm not sure, but Jesse and I watched this a little bit of this movie, and we really liked it, so we wanted to have a copy of it. Next, I picked up this season 1 of The Kaminsky Method, which is a Netflix series, I believe. We don't have Netflix right now, but you can see the price was only $3.97, and so this is looks like a very interesting series with Alan Arkin and Michael Douglas. The sun isn't setting yet on the once famous acting coach Sandy Kaminsky and his cantankerous longtime agent Norman Newlander. Academy Award winner Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin are best friends who keep each other going as they navigate their twilight years in youth-obsessed Los Angeles. So this looks pretty good, and again, I love Alan Arkin, so I thought this one would be a good series to pick up. And again, this is a great time to be collecting physical media. Look at how inexpensive that is. And I can watch a whole season of a show. We also there were a couple copies of this, 2 copies of season 5 of The Office for $7.99 plus 20% off. And Justin and I love The Office. We have a digital copy of The Office that we can watch anytime, but I didn't have any of seasons of The Office on physical media, so I thought I'd pick this one up. This one's got also deleted scenes, a gag reel, 100 episodes, 100 moments, The Office promos, webisodes. So it was pretty cool to get a full season of a TV show for $7.99. So that's what we picked up at Big Lots, and I think that's probably going to be our last trip to Big Lots because it looks like they're really closing down. A lot of the other merchandise was completely gone. So very sad to see another store closing down here locally, especially one that carries some physical media. So, but again, that was our last trip probably to the store. It's a little cooler today, so we're taking a walk.
Yeah.
And last night we watched Hearts of Darkness, which is that documentary about Apocalypse Now, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
which I hadn't seen for many years, right? But what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good.
I mean, it's pretty amazing to think of, Francis Ford Coppola went through all those issues making the movie and
the cost
of it, and the issues with Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen having a heart attack during that, and
they had the big weather event
like a typhoon happening, so a lot of the sets got destroyed, which was pretty crazy. So it was really interesting though, and I think last year about this time we were watching Apocalypse Now, right?
Yeah.
So the documentary is on the Criterion channel, or I believe it's part of the 4K package for Apocalypse Now. So.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
On that 4K steelbook, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it just kind of showcases the issues that some filmmakers have, which I'm sure is still true today, where you're funding your own project at some point.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of videos about how distributing a film and the cost of making a film and getting into the theater is becoming more and more difficult with the studio system. So it was just interesting to watch that documentary after seeing what's going on in the industry today.
Yeah.
It's Wednesday, and Jesse and I are in the office today a little bit, and we were just looking at our streaming services. Occasionally we evaluate our streaming services, and we're thinking about maybe not discontinuing, or maybe discontinuing Hulu and Disney Plus, because we have that for $19.99 a month. We really don't use it. We have, I think, a lot of the Disney movies we have, right? We don't really, like, we have all the Marvel movies that we like. We have all the Star Wars movies that we like.
I think like a few months ago, we were thinking about getting rid of it. So we there were some deals, and we purchased like some of the, like, not Wall-E, but like Cars, or I guess we got like Ratatouille.
We got Ratatouille, yeah.
And there's like one other one that we didn't have that we watch somewhat frequently on the service, because then we were like, we don't need to pay $20 a month if we have all the things we want to see.
Yeah, I just think this is going to be happening more and more as we continue to build the physical media collection that we have. I think we need streaming services less and less. There's less like new shows that we like to see. I'm currently watching Life in Pieces. I think you watching a little bit of it, but you're doing other things, but you're watching too.
Yeah, I like a lot of stuff on Hulu. Like Hulu has The Bear, but
which we haven't seen too, by the way.
But I feel like we probably, like, we used to keep Disney Plus because we like The Mandalorian, but then it got into this thing where you had to watch other shows and other movies to understand what's happening, and we kind of just fell off of it. So I mean, I feel like we probably would keep Hulu and not keep Disney Plus, but the way they're bundled, I think
we probably would just cancel it for a while, because we could always go back to those shows. I was thinking maybe we would, I would finish Life in Pieces. I'm on season 3. It's just a 30-minute comedy show, but it's not, I don't know if you could really call it a sitcom because it's not in front of a live audience, but it just has 4 stories.
It's like a family comedy, I guess.
Yeah, like a family comedy, which is pretty entertaining. It seemed like season 3 had a really kind of a rough beginning, but then it seems to be getting better. So maybe I'll make it through all 4 seasons of that, and then we should watch The Bear, which we could do. But there's really nothing on Disney Plus that I'm that interested in that we don't have.
But I think it depends on when season 4 of The Bear is coming, because we can always just watch season 3 and 4.
Yeah. So.
Because if you can wait long enough, then you can just watch everything within a month, and then you don't. And then you don't have to have it all the time. Yeah.
Months. And we were just talking about Fargo because we like Fargo and we've watched all of those seasons, but I don't know that there's a new season coming up, right? Is there a new season next year?
No, there's nothing on IMDb right now. It seems like Fargo originally was like a once-a-year show, but then it became like about every 3 years. So because it's like an anthology show, they don't like deliver every year.
Yeah. I think we always try to make these office segments a little bit shorter, but then we end up talking about a lot of things. I mean, this is what we talk about usually every day. We talk about what we're going to watch, and we're planning for the fall season, what we want to watch for the fall season.
I'm just looking at The Bear now, and they release all of the episodes on one day.
On one day, yeah.
So we can just wait till season 4 comes and then watch 3 and 4. Yeah. I got a little bit spoiled, but not that spoiled. Which
is always dangerous when you're looking at IMDb, or because we get. We were also going to talk about, we're really loving the show Horror's Greatest, and we were watching the current episode, which comes out on Tuesday. This is on AMC Plus, and it's called, what is it called?
Giant Monsters.
Giant Monsters, and I feel like we're sort of we do this thing called where we savor the show because we like it so much. We don't want to have the episode be over and then have to wait another week, and so we've only watched half of it, but we love it so far. I mean, the only issue I have with it is that when they're talking about the movies, they go by really fast, and I'm trying to take notes or trying to add things to my list, so I have to go back and rewatch them again. But
because sometimes they'll show just a quick clip while they're talking about something else, and then other times they'll talk very specifically about a movie.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, oh, what's that? And then you don't really know what it is. And they do list the titles in the corner, but not as frequently as we'd like.
True, yeah.
But this one was fun because so far, like, they had like a top 5 list as like a recap before they went to the next like section of the show. So that was kind of fun to see. Like, we could put those on our
and
list.
Tremors was on the list. Wasn't Tremors on the list? And King Kong was on the list?
Yeah, it was like the top 5.
I can't remember which ones, but
creatures. I don't know what they said it was, but it was like
Them was on the list. I noticed. I just ordered a copy of Them on Blu-ray because I didn't have that movie, but about the big ants, which I've seen years ago too. Yeah. But
Tarantula.
Oh, that's right. Tarantula was on the list.
King Kong, probably.
Yeah. There was another one, but anyway, or there's a few others. I guess we forgot about.
There were a couple others, but I think they were more like classic. I think there was like top 5 classic creatures or something like that.
Yeah, I like how we got some insight into the Jordan Peele movie Nope, which we just ordered too, because we liked Get Out. We tried to watch Us, which we haven't finished, but Nope looked pretty interesting the way they described it. I thought it was pretty interesting, so we want to see that.
Yeah.
So.
And they talked about Cloverfield, which I feel like maybe we'll try.
Oh, Cloverfield, yeah, because we liked 10 Cloverfield Lane, right? We liked that one.
Yeah.
Right, with John Good. Was it John
John
Goodman's
Goodman,
in that one? Yeah. So
and we also want to try Kong Skull Island,
which is on Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, just getting back to the streaming services, we have Max, we have the Criterion Channel, we have Amazon Prime, and we have Peacock. And then, of course, if we decide to get rid of Disney Plus and Hulu, we'll just have those, right?
Right.
Which might be fine for a while. I think that might be fine for a while. But anyway, I feel like with the prices increasing all the time, this is something we're always thinking about.
Yeah.
If we're even
and it gets
using
kind of tricky too, because during the holidays or certain seasons, you want to watch things that are on some services but aren't on others, or maybe it was on last year but it's not on this year, and eventually it's not. Like,
it's not really worth it.
We try to pay attention to where we're watching, and then if something isn't really pulling its weight, we just get rid of it for a little while.
Yeah. So we're thinking, my watch pile is increasing too, and I am watching episodes of Star Trek, the original series, which I'm really enjoying. I just finished 2 hours of the Menagerie Part 1 and 2 last night, which I thought was really good, where they took the pilot. They basically took the pilot and made it into this 2-part episode in Star Trek, the original series. So I'm enjoying that, watching Life in Pieces. And then I saw this video this morning about this movie, which I've been thinking about watching some Hitchcock. And so I have this Warner Archive release of Dial M for Murder in 3D, which I obviously don't have a 3D TV or anything. I'm not going to be able to watch it in 3D, but...
Right.
And there's the back of that one. This is a Warner Archive release, and I was just interested to see the video I watched described a scene with Ray Milland, who I really like, and Grace Kelly's in this, Robert Cummings and John Williams. And I haven't seen some Hitchcock in a while, so this looked pretty good. I was going to read a little bit. Alfred Hitchcock's screen version of Frederick Knott's stage hit Dial M for Murder is a tasty blend of elegance and suspense, casting Grace Kelly, Ray Milland, and Robert Cummings as the points of a romantic triangle. Grace Kelly won the New York Film Critics and National Board of Review Best Actress Awards for this, and 2 other acclaimed 1954 performances. But the thing that's interesting, usually in the fall I get interested in watching some movies that look like plays or film versions of plays, and this is definitely one of those, with some longer scenes, with some amazing actors and actresses. And so this is something that's on my list. But let me know in the comments too if you have a favorite Hitchcock film. I do like Rear Window, and I was thinking about rewatching that. It was just the 70th anniversary of Rear Window, which I couldn't believe.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to which I've seen many times, Rear Window, but I would like to see it again.
Well, that's a good transition one, because it's very hot in that movie.
It's very hot. I was thinking if we have maybe some hotter days. We talked about this yesterday a little bit in the clip when we were outside, but we were watching Hearts of Darkness, but we may rewatch Apocalypse Now, which I think we were watching last year too. But it's nice to watch like on a hot day, or
well, that's why
something.
We're also interested in Kong Skull Island, because some of the cinematography is
it looks like it, yeah. You're right.
Because Skull Island it takes the idea of King Kong and then says, what if we didn't take him away from the island? What if he stayed? And then what would it look like?
I think, which is an interesting idea too. I think King Kong had to be one of the first monster movies I've seen. I might do a whole video on this too, about, some of my favorite monster films as we get into the autumn and the Halloween season. But let me know in the comments too if you have a favorite monster movie, and maybe I'll talk about it in the video. But I mean, King Kong was one of the first ones I saw on TV. Black and white. It was a black and white, film. Still is a black and white film from 1933.
Yeah.
But that was one of the first ones I saw. It's a great film. I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of sad what happens to King Kong, because you're right. They take him out of his element, take him back to the city where he doesn't really know anything about the city, right? King Kong.
Yeah, he didn't ask to be there.
Isn't it the same idea with Cloverfield too, right? They have a monster that's just in the city. You can't really blame the monster for being in the city because they don't really understand.
Well, that's how I feel about
works.
Godzilla also, especially in like Godzilla -1. It seemed like it's not his fault he got like awoken from the ocean, and he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he wants to be, stomping all over the city. He just wants to be left alone.
That's right. You got to feel for these monsters. And Frankenstein too. We got to watch Frankenstein, which we've already seen. I feel like we've seen Frankenstein already, Bride of Frankenstein, but maybe we need to watch from the beginning.
Well, we talked earlier, like a few days ago, about how we might watch a lot of like Bride films because we want to see Brides of Dracula because we saw part of that, and then we wanted to watch Bride of Frankenstein because that one's really
Bride of Frankenstein is probably my favorite. Yeah, I think also it's fun. Maybe we did this. Maybe not last year, but the year before, where I like to just have a movie on sometimes. Like when we had TCM, sometimes we just had TCM, Turner Classic Movies. We just had that on all the time. I like the idea of just like having some movies on in the background or on the TV in the living room or something like that, because it kind of gives that atmosphere. Just like with holiday movies too, you have them on and stuff.
Well, I like to do that like if I'm baking, because I don't bake very often, but for the holidays sometimes I will. So it's nice to like put on a movie and then like make cookies or
just to
put a pumpkin bread in the oven and then watch it.
We'll probably do a new opening too for the channel. Once the leaves start to fall, you'll see a new opening. We try to do an opening for each of the seasons, and maybe one or two openings for each of the seasons.
I think we missed summer though.
Did we?
I think we're still using a spring opening.
A spring one, yeah.
It may have been like late spring because all the leaves have grown in.
So you'll probably see that on the channel once the leaves start to fall, which they are starting to turn now. So this is us getting ready for what we're going to watch in the fall. Let us know in the comments too what you're planning to watch in the fall season. If you have any favorite movies that you like to watch around this time of year, but we always try to have a little bit of a plan of what we want to watch. So that's it.
10 minutes later.
10 minutes later. Yeah. We had a pretty busy day today, so we decided to get some burgers and from a local place. It's not fast food though, right? It's a burger place.
No, it's like
local
a
burger place.
greasy spoon kind of.
Greasy spoon. And today we got lettuce and tomato on a burger.
And mayo.
And mayo. Oh, that's right. That's the first time we're trying mayo on a burger too. Except for if we go to Burger King or something.
Yeah.
And you got cheese on yours, and I got plain on mine. Just plain on mine.
Just a burger, yeah.
And we got some fries. There's some fries there, and some mozzarella sticks with marinara sauce. So it was pretty busy today, and so we thought it'd be easier than cooking at home. So, and we got a root beer, right?
Yeah.
We were busy today because I went to the dentist today, and they recommended this toothbrush, which they had in the office, which is the IO Series 6 rechargeable toothbrush from Oral-B. And look at all these features on it. It's got an interactive display, position detection, optimum pressure control, smart modes, and an IO Ultimate Clean Brush Head. So I guess you can get an app with this thing. Let's see how to turn it over this side. It's got built with AI, interactive display, Bluetooth connected, optimum pressure control. I guess I said all that too. Power button and charging indication. So this looks pretty cool. I guess I didn't realize. I'm sure this technology has been around for a long time. It's also got, as Jesse points out, the Oral-B app, AI built in for personalized coaching. What? Personalized coaching for brushing my teeth.
You got a toothbrushing coach now?
I got a toothbrush coach. It's a little noisy in here we have the dryer on and the air conditioning, but I just noticed this too. I always read these descriptions to see what the remastered edition of Star Trek The Original Series contains, and I'm watching this one, Star Trek The Conscience of the King, and I noticed, being a big fan of theater, this one has kind of a Shakespeare theme, and I'll just read the description here. As one of the two surviving witnesses to the mass murders of Kodos the Executioner, Kirk learns that the criminal may be disguising himself as an actor in a traveling troupe. But Shakespeare has nothing on this real-life tragedy once Kirk meets the suspect's beautiful daughter. And I like how it says the remastered edition does show off some beautiful new close-ups of the Enterprise, and watch for the moving stars outside the ship's outer observation window. So I'm really enjoying these, as I said in last week's vlog too, the remastered editions, and I like that they sort of highlight what you should watch for in the episode. There's a big storm on the way, apparently. Look at all these leaves coming down. I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it because it's the fall. It's almost the fall, but wow. I didn't expect all the leaves to start coming down already. Look at the wind. The wind really picked up.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
All of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
I got this big dark cloud up here somehow. Ooh, there was all these leaves going by the window. All of a sudden we just looked outside and it was just, you know, those leaves are coming out from that one area that we had,
The old tree.
like up at the top. Yeah, yeah. Probably see a lot more of this in the vlog too, because there'll be more storms coming and it's getting a little chillier here. Generally around this time of year too, we get this kind of return to summer, and then it gets a little colder, and then eventually we're in the winter. So, but I just can't believe how much these trees started moving outside.